Get ready for the action, because we are diving straight into the fight world with major updates. We start with Islam Makhachev reflecting on Jack Della Maddalena's recent loss at UFC Perth. We break down exactly what the champion has to say about the defeat and what this means for Jack Della Maddalena's championship aspirations moving forward. You won't want to miss this analysis.
Here's a simple way to protect your phone without stress. This ALEN 3-pack comes with tempered glass screen protectors, camera lens protectors, and an installation frame for an easier, cleaner fit. It's clear, case-friendly, and built to help guard against scratches and everyday bumps. Check the link in the comments to get it on Amazon.
Next up, we shift focus to the heavyweight division with Alex Pereira laying down the gauntlet. Alex Pereira is demanding that Sean Strickland step up and defeat Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 328 in Newark. We explore the history between Pereira and Strickland and what the former champion believes is the key to Sean Strickland winning this massive showdown. Now we turn to the personalities dominating the scene. We look at Sean Strickland's strong opinion regarding UFC heavyweight Josh Hokit, where Strickland tells Hokit to stop putting on an act. We examine the back-and-forth exchange between the two fighters and the fallout from Strickland's comments. Finally, we zoom in on the main event hype for UFC 328. We get the full breakdown of the Media Day video and interviews featuring UFC 328 headliners Khamzat Chimaev and Sean Strickland as they prepare for their clash for the middleweight strap. Don't miss a second of this action. Stay tuned for more news. UFC champion Islam Makhachev has offered insights following Jack Della Maddalena's recent loss at UFC Perth. Della Maddalena suffered his second consecutive defeat, being knocked out by Carlos Prates in the main event. The bout was not overly competitive, with Prates displaying growing confidence to secure the finish. This loss comes at a difficult time for Della Maddalena, following a previous one-sided loss to Islam Makhachev that resulted in him losing the UFC welterweight championship. Makhachev is expected to attempt a title defense later this year, potentially against either Prates or Ian Machado Gary. In an interview with Red Corner MMA, Makhachev commented on the fight, stating, "Of course I was watching it live. Apparently Maddalena could not collect himself. Maybe he hasn't fully recovered from the last defeat. He couldn't find his range. I have studied his fights a lot before we fought. He gets close, changes levels, and throws, but this time around, he just got close and took shots. Prates did an excellent job." Despite still being regarded as a top welterweight by many fans, analysts suggest significant adjustments are necessary if Della Maddalena intends to pursue another title challenge. A period of rest is considered advisable after such a significant defeat. The future trajectory for Jack Della Maddalena in the UFC remains uncertain, with questions being raised about his ability to return to championship form. Former UFC champion Alex Pereira has expressed his strong belief that Sean Strickland should defeat Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 328 in Newark. Speaking during the UFC Countdown episode, Pereira highlighted his past training relationship with Strickland, noting that their time together at the UFC Performance Institute provided him with valuable insights into Strickland's skill set. Pereira praised Strickland's veteran status, emphasizing that his jab is his primary weapon and that he needs to maintain composure while watching out for takedown attempts. Strickland enters the bout as a significant underdog against the reigning champion Chimaev, aiming to reclaim a title he lost in 2024. The fight is one of the year's most anticipated matchups, despite past animosity between the two fighters. The UFC has implemented precautionary measures, including separating both competitors into different hotels to prevent any outside conflict. For Khamzat Chimaev, this contest marks his first defense of the middleweight belt, which he secured last year by defeating Dricus du Plessis via unanimous decision. The anticipation is mounting ahead of the fight, with fans keenly awaiting the press conference scheduled for Thursday at 5 p.m. EST, where both fighters are expected to appear under heavy security. In other news, Alex Pereira is gearing up for another major challenge in June. The Brazilian sensation is fighting for a third belt in a different weight class, facing Cyril Gane for the interim channel YouTube weight belt at the White House event in Washington, D.C. A victory in this fight would make Pereira the first fighter in UFC history to hold titles across 3 different weight classes, a monumental achievement since his UFC debut in 2021. The main card for UFC 328 features the highly anticipated clash between Khamzat Chimaev and Sean Strickland, alongside bouts including Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Terra, Alexander Volkov versus Waldo Cortez Acosta, Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley, and King Green versus Jeremy Stevens. Preliminary and early preliminary cards are also set for the event. Former UFC middleweight champion Sean Strickland has publicly voiced his opinion regarding the persona adopted by heavyweight Josh Hokit, urging him to drop the act. Strickland, who has trained with and considers Hokit a friend, stated that he finds Hokit's constructed image fabricated and reminiscent of a WWE skit. Strickland suggested that Hokit, being a mature adult, should stop performing and focus solely on fighting. Strickland remarked, "It's like Josh Hokit, dude, you're a grown-ass man. You're like almost 30 years old and you're acting like F***C King Jake Paul when he was 13. Stop, bro, you made it. People know who you are, just stop. You don't got to go interview homeless people and be F***C King weird. Just fight now." Hokit responded to the criticism, challenging Strickland to a fight, stating, "Let's fight. I'll show you the difference between me and Jake Paul." Strickland countered that complaining about a persona is akin to a clown complaining about too many balloons, asserting that his personal image holds more appeal than Hokit's constructed persona. The comments come amid Hokit's high standing following a double bonus-winning performance at UFC 327, which led to a booking on the White House card at UFC Freedom 250 against Derek Lewis. Strickland also announced a challenge to middleweight champion Khamzat Chimaev for the main event of UFC 328. The Ultimate Fighting Championship is gearing up for a major event with UFC 328, featuring a highly anticipated main event between Khamzat Chimaev and Sean Strickland. Media day coverage, including live stream interviews, is scheduled for 11:15 a.m. ET and is available on the embedded video. The main event pits the UFC middleweight champion, Khamzat Chimaev, against Sean Strickland for the title in the Paramount Plus main event this Saturday night, May 9, 2026, at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. The media day lineup is stacked with talent, featuring several high-profile fighters. Key participants include Khamzat Chimaev, Sean Strickland, Joshua Van, Tatsuro Terra, Alexander Volkov, Waldo Cortez Acosta, Sean Brady, Joaquin Buckley, King Green, Jeremy Stevens, Ate Bagaudier, and Jim Miller, alongside Jared Gordon and Basinger Suzerkiv. In pre-fight commentary, former opponent Alex Pereira offered insights into Strickland's transformation. Pereira noted a significant shift in his perception of Strickland, stating, "Before our fight, I saw him differently. But once he stepped into the octagon, you could see it on his face. He was a different guy. He is a warrior. The first time we trained together was after our fight. I learned a lot from those sessions. He's got a lot of experience. He knows his craft. He's always moving forward, firing that jab. That's a great weapon he has. Everyone knows that I'm rooting for Sean Strickland. He's got to stay composed, keep pressing forward, stay alert, watch out for the takedowns, and use his jab and front kick. I'm really excited and motivated for this fight, and I hope he gets the win." UFC 328 promises a compelling card as these top contenders prepare for their clash.